So Ben, what we're going to talk about here are the Sterling Pro Football Net Point Power Rankings for Week 3. We're going to look at the bottom half of the list in both net points, points for, that's your PF, points against, and our friend Todd, turnover differential. Let's start in column 1, net points. So again, net points is that differential between the points that you've scored and the points that you've given up. And as we can see, there are a few teams that are, quote, playoff contenders who are in the bottom half of this list that you would think, okay, these guys shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be, wallowing around with the likes of the Jaguars, but okay. The Ravens are -3. They are tied with the Chiefs at -3. Those are some tough games. And the Seahawks at -4. The Texans have been an interesting team. They played better early on than we thought, but now is Tyler out again? He's hurt, the quarterback for the Texans.
Tyrod Taylor?
Tyrod.
Yeah, he's out.
Out again. Titans are, again, -13 and 21st place. Here's your Packers at -22. Now, we know the Packers have this skew going against them because of the number of points that they lost by in their first game against the Saints. And then again, here's your Steelers and your Giants right there next to each other in the net points. Colts, the Washington football team, right there just above the Lions, the Bears, the Dolphins, Jaguars, and Falcons. So that's the bottom half in terms of net points. Next column over is your points for, where we're looking at the Bengals down to the Bears.
As you stated, net points are determined by the points that you score minus the points that you give up. So the 22nd ranked team, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th ranked teams are all teams that were supposed to have really good defenses this year. And they're giving up points to the point that they are this low in net points. Not good.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the third column, PA, points against, the Giants are above the Seahawks. They're above the Packers, the Titans, the Ravens, the Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Colts, Ravens, the Buccaneers. Yeah, that's
the Chiefs. Look at the Chiefs down there, 31st place. Chiefs giving up the same number of points as the Lions.
Well, I already told you when I did the review, the Chiefs defense is nothing to write home about right now. These Chiefs fans, the loyal ones that are the real Chiefs fans that have been hanging around and are happy for the days of the last couple of years and going forward, as well as those fake Chief fans that just jumped on board talking about, I was an Eagle fan, but I'm really an Andy Reid fan and all that mess. Yeah, your defense, not good, bro. Not good.
The turnover differential column, the last column, Jaguars have given up, or they're -8. Let's put it that way. The turnover differential and net points are the two columns where you can have plus and minus in your calculation. Titans, -6. I was a little surprised to see that. It's tight. I mean, everything else is only a few turnovers, 2 for the Chiefs.
Off to a rough start.
So not get, and again, I want to remind people what we're saying is that this week 3 is the middle of what we call the second preseason. So I'm still withholding as much judgment as I can, understanding that we already said the first 5 games constitute the second preseason. So teams are starting to get their stuff together. Probably the one team that I can really say that for is the Packers, who look completely discombobulated, but have looked like they've gotten their ship right now. They're focused, and they're on track to do whatever damage they need. So I expect to see them rising in the net points as long as their defense holds up. All right. Let's look at the top half. Let's go to the top, number one in net points, Ben, tied with your AFC friends, the Buffalo Bills, at plus 50 net points. Watch out for them Broncos.
Now, let me just say real quick, we didn't have any real pre-production meeting here, okay? So this is the first time I'm looking at this, just like the viewers out there. But if you listen to my review, I've been touting the Buffalo Bills, but I also touted Teddy Two Gloves on the Broncos offense, as well as the Broncos defense. And also, I've been raving about Sam Darnold, maybe a little bit early for Darnold, but the guy's playing really well. And I also been raving about the Panthers defense. So there they go, 1, 2, 3. I'm very happy to see that. Very happy.
Well, speaking of 1, 2, 3, Ben, I was a little curious at the 1, 2, 3. So I went back just to look at this, the quality of these points, because the context of the team that you play does matter. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned,
yeah,
anyway.
It could.
So the Broncos have beaten the Giants, the Jags, and the Jets.
I understand that.
So looking at those three teams and understanding where they are, I'm questioning the quality. Now, the Buffalo Bills, okay, Steelers, Dolphins, Washington. Kind of like the
question that too.
Not as much. Not as much. Not as much. So, just trying to keep all of that in mind. But the Broncos do look interesting here. Number 1 through 8, the top 8, the top quarter, that's where you're usually going to find near the end of the year your Super Bowl contender. So we're looking at the Broncos at 1, the Bills, the Panthers, the Cardinals, Rams, Saints, Browns, Cowboys, filling out the top 8. Let me see here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's about 5 NFC teams in there. Good, strong NFC showing. The Buccaneers are coming in at 10th, right above the Bengals. Buccaneers are plus 15. Bengals are plus 14. My Niners at plus 12. Then you have the Vikings, Chargers, and the Patriots. So you got a few there on the net points. Number 1 scoring team in the league, tied with the Buccaneers. The next column points for is your Cardinals. Yeah, you sound like the Cardinals, man. Interesting that they put up the most points. Third place, you have the Rams. That's going to be an interesting matchup coming up. We'll talk about that in the next segment. And your Bills right up there, number 4. Top 5 include the Chiefs at 92 points scored. The Ravens aren't far behind, tied with the Cowboys at 90. So there's your Vikings at 87, my Niners at 86. The Niners have put up points.
That's the Raiders at 90.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My car, baby.
My Niners are 86. Yeah. What can I tell you? But they have put up points there in the top 10. Okay, so Seahawks at 75. The Broncos put up 76. They're in 12th place. Saints and then Titans on down. So those are your top. But the Cardinals and the Buccaneers have put up the most. They're the first in the three-digit category of points scored. So let's keep an eye out for both of them. You knew you had to do that with the Bucs, but the Cardinals, man. All right, points against Broncos. See, that's how you get high in the net points. 26 points allowed in total. Divided by 3, that's a little over 7-8 points a game.
Right.
So, Panthers coming in at 10 points a game at 30. In second place in the Saints. Again, a bit of a skew, I believe, with the Saints at only 42 points. The Buffalo Bills, 44 at 4th, and the Patriots at 51. So those are your top 5 there in points against. The Steelers are in the top half. Cowboys in the top half. Raiders and Niners are also in the top half of your points allowed categories. So those other teams that we talked about that are in the low bottom half, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they get their act together. And again, by the end of game 5, that part will be over in terms of that second preseason. I expect these guys to kind of know what they got and be on their way one way or the other. Cowboys, #1 in turnover differential, tied with the Saints at +5. So that's always is a good omen for your defense, even though their defense is still rated 13, ranked at 13, giving up a total of 69 points. They are first, tied with the Saints with +5 in the turnover. And the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams: Bills, Broncos, Colts, Cardinals, Texans, all at +3. So it gets really tight from there, 2 to 1 to 0. No big deal in terms of differentiating between the teams. So those are your top 32 in the Sterling Pro Football Net Point Power Rankings. Any final words on these guys, Mr. Dickerson?
Yes, absolutely. When you first brought this up, we went to the net points column 1. And you made a point of talking about the teams that the Broncos, the Bills, and the Panthers have played so far. Now, do you still have that in front of you?
Yes.
Broncos played who?
Broncos played the Giants, Jags, and Jets.
Okay, although 3 of those teams are challenged. Who did the Panthers play?
Jets, Saints, and Texans.
Okay. All 3 of those teams are challenged, but the Saints, not so much. The Saints are competitive. If you look across the other lines, you'll see points against, they're in the top 5. Turnovers, they're number 2. Buffalo Bills, who did they play?
Let me mention the skew is in on the Saints, though.
You can say that, but go ahead.
Okay, all right. Who's next? Bills?
Buffalo Bills.
They lost to the Steelers, but they beat the Dolphins and they beat the Washington football team.
The Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Okay. So you respected those 3 teams that the Bills played more than the teams that the Broncos and the Panthers played.
Well, to be quite honest with you,
I look at that as a skew. The eye test tells me that the Broncos and the Panthers
and Washington are questionable, man. I don't know if they're as bad as the Jags and the Jets.
No. I'm not saying they're good. What I'm saying is Pittsburgh ain't good.
Well, we're seeing that now.
Absolutely.
We're seeing that now.
So all 3 of those teams are playing teams that have proven either from week 1 or just recently in week 3 that they're extremely challenged defensively. Okay. But the eye test tells me that the Broncos and obviously the Bills are good. You can look at the Bills offense and you know they're going to steamroll most of the teams that they play. But I believe that the Broncos defense and a steady quarterback with a steady hand on the offense, and the same thing with the Panthers, a better than average defense with a steady hand and a confident quarterback and a nice run game and good receivers on offense. The Broncos and the Panthers are much better than people will believe just by looking at their record. It's easy to look at the record and see who they played and say, well, I don't know if they're that good. They ain't play nobody. We'll see. And I could be wrong. We'll see. But my eye test tells me these are teams that are going to have to be reckoned with. Obviously, the Cardinals have to be reckoned with. They have Kyler Murray. This guy can't be freaking touched. Besides Lamar Jackson, you can't sack him. You can't tackle him. You can't block his passes. The guy's like 5'3" or something. This is crazy. Kyler Murray is incredible right now. He's really on top of his game. And then the Rams just easily outscored Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Those teams, all of them teams are for real. They're for real. I don't expect to see the Broncos and the Panthers fall far if they fall at all.
Okay. All right. So the Panthers in 3rd place, you expect them to hold in that top 5 range there.
Well, I'm not going to say the whole season they're going to hold there, but I think they're going to scuffle around and be up near the top 8, top 10.
Top 8, top 10 by the end
Yeah.
of the season. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
the only team in the top 10 now that I say is probably a pretender is probably the Saints. Other than that, everybody else got a shot, including the Raiders.
Yeah, especially the Raiders. See?
Raiders offense is extremely dynamic.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's having a career year right now. If he keeps it up, they'll be fine. If he falters a little bit or the defense gets weak and they can't, because he's outscoring people too.
The interesting thing about the Buccaneers is, Gronk has always been Tom Brady's security blanket. And as great as Tom Brady is, I always felt that his longevity and greatness was enhanced because he could always go to Gronk. Gronk took a hit, man. I don't know if it's going to affect him down the line in the season, but it'll be interesting to see him operate without Gronk and see if he's as efficient. Everybody's questioning whether.
Bro, stop. Please stop.
Hey.
This is a guy that won Super Bowls with dudes you can't even remember their names.
Yeah,
he's
but
got Chris Godwin.
Not in the last.
He's got Godwin and Evans.
I know. But Gronk is his security blanket.
Oh, stop.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Jeez. Security blanket to what point? That he's going to struggle now if Gronk can't play?
We shall see.
Oh, cut it out.
I'm going to see if there's an effect. That's all I'm saying.
Stop. Effect.
An effect. All right. Sterling net point power rankings 1 through 16. 17 through 32. Make sure you get back next week. We will be back with the week 4 rankings. All right. Thank you.